It is always said, what men can do, women can do better. If there is a demonstration of that belief that what men can do, women can do better, it is in the governor's position occupied by these women. They have demonstrated that certainly women leadership as governors have done much more than what their male counterparts have done. Rigiji and myself, tukifika hapo mbele na tumepangana, tumekubaliana vile itaenda, we must also agree that going forward, if a man is a candidate for president in our party, the woman must be the runner. And if a woman is the candidate, then a man can be a running mate. Okay? And we must also cascade it down to the governors. So, and we must be intentional and deliberate about it, otherwise it will never happen. And I know fellow party leaders in other parties will agree with us, because we all agree, because I'm sure the party leader in Wiper supported Wavinya, the party leader in ODM supported Gladys, and all the other party leaders supported their women candidates. So we will do this not because we want to do anything against men, but we want to balance so that we all move together. I want to commit to the women of Kenya that this time round, we will make sure that the 2/3 gender rule is attained. And the exercise that is going on in Parliament, the NADCO report, now includes what Aisha Jumwa and her team have been doing. And the commitment I made is that for the 290 seats, at the very minimum, we must have at least 1/3 being women. Now, I know there is a lot of calculus and mathematics and interpretations and what, but in the bill that is going to go to Parliament, we will make sure that at least more women, and hopefully we can do this by next year, more women get to leadership in Parliament. And my instructions are very clear to Kimani Ichung'wah, who is the leader of majority in the National Assembly, and the PG of our Kenya Kwanza team, that will be the official position of the party. And we have talked to many leaders, especially men. And I can tell you, ladies, for the first time, I see that men are committed to making sure that this time round, we succeed in actualizing the 2/3 gender rule in the frame that we have set. And I want to ask women leaders, I know you may want higher numbers, but we can do it, you know, we can do it progressively. Let us get what we think is attainable now. You guys know what you need to do. We can then take it to the next level, and then take it to the next level, and finally get it to 50-50. Women are very reliable. When I ran into political turbulence as deputy president, now it is time for us to move it a notch higher, that women should not only participate in terms of being voters, they should participate in terms of being candidates and in being elected as leaders. And it is not just politically correct to say we should have women leaders. It is the constitutional thing to do, and it is the moral imperative that we must aspire to achieve. And therefore, when I was requested by these great ladies to participate in this launch of G7, the great 7 women governor leaders in Kenya, I thought it was a good place for me to come and ask us as a nation to recognize the participation of women. And none of us, no man, however prejudiced they are, did not come from a womb of a mother. We may be whatever we are, we may be strong, we may be opinionated, we may even have issues of prejudice. But the basic fact is that we were born by women. So just that recognition alone should give us the courage and the inspiration to support women in Kenya. And therefore, I have listened to the women leaders from my side of the political divide, and they have given an account and almost reduced this function to a function of UDA and Kenya Kwanza. But it is because they know that it takes courage, it takes a lot of support to get matters gender appreciated by our society now. But let me encourage you that what the women governors are doing, they are doing more campaign than any campaign can be done. In the good job they are doing in their counties, they are not only inspiring other women to be leaders, but they are making it easier for the country to elect women the next time round. So, Your Excellencies, governors who are women in our midst, I want to tell men to stand, to come forward and protect our women from FGM, even if it is for selfish reasons. You know, FGM destroys women and makes them less confident, less effective, and creates many challenges around it. Men should know, in fact, men should be champions against FGM. Because you know what it is. FGM destroys everything that would be good in a woman. So, and I am saying this to the men here, you know, because even if it is for selfish reasons, because we are the ones who enjoy when I mean, so, and especially the women who come from the counties that have prevalence of this challenge, please, let's go out of our way. And therefore, we made a commitment to the people of Kenya to accelerate interventions to actualize the constitutional gender inclusion threshold and pursue radical imaginative strategies towards this end, and to significantly enhance financial inclusion of women, among other efforts. And let me say this. When I did a memorandum to Parliament, I did not do it for political correctness. It is because I had made a commitment to the women in Kenya Kwanza that we would finally do something about this two-third gender rule. And it has been a back and forth for now over 10 years. And let me say something very deliberate here. Charity Ngilu occupies a very special place in our country. She is the first woman to dare to run for president, materially. And she's been a great inspiration. I must say this. Charity is many times very hard on me. But I must say this about her, that she is a great inspiration to many women, not in her party, to many women across Kenya. Her daring spirit has inspired many of these women who are today leaders in Kenya. I want to ask those of you who are leaders today, please, the mentorship that Charity gave you, please mentor others by demonstrating great leadership going into the future. And we are going to stand together to work with you. The last election proved to be a transformational watershed in women's participation in political leadership. As a result, the number of women in each category of elective leadership grew, with the greatest leap being in the number of counties which elected female governors. Kwale here, Fatuma Chani, Machakos there, Wavinya Ndeti, Kirinyaga, Anne Waiguru, Embu, Cecily Mbarire, Meru, Kawira Mwangaza, Nakuru, Susan Kehika, and of course, Homa Bay, our Gladys Wanga. And I am very confident that the governor's seat, we should be able to attain the parity benchmark much more faster than in all the other seats. And therefore, I support, because it is true, these women governors have demonstrated great leadership. In fact, better than the men. And if there is a place, it is always said, and I'm sorry, Sakaja, it is always said, you're a great leader in Nairobi, I must say that. But these leaders, they have stepped up as models of transformative leadership, advocates of women inclusion, and champions of leadership of devolution and good governance. I like what Wanga said, that they want to stand on the platform of integrity. They want it to be known that women leaders project, believe in, and are profiled as women who are of good standing, incorruptible, passionate, and that is what we all want to see in our men. These leaders, they have resolved to leverage their unique and historic position as pioneers to pave the way for even greater numbers of women in key leadership roles by intentionally using their leadership to mobilize positive public attitudes to women leadership. In so doing, they have lived up to the ideals of bipartisanship and coordinated their endeavors in the best spirit of inclusivity to actualize the values and principles of devolution, gender equality, inclusive and transformative actions. It is through such inspired and principled actions that the spirit of our Constitution is brought to life to catalyze national transformation. This is why I'm delighted to join you at the launch of the G7 strategy to expand women leadership in devolved units and amplify the transformative impact of inclusion on socio-economic development, governance, representation, and institutional growth and development. I am persuaded that the G7 represents a superior proposition in promoting the inclusion of women generally and in leadership specifically. It also provides an alternative pathway towards the sustainable realization of the two-third gender role inclusion. The leadership of the G7 affirms our faith in the promise of the bottom-up economic transformation for shared prosperity through inclusion, and have made an irrefutable and irresistible case for the urgent attainment of the gender parity as an idea whose time has come. I am very proud to associate myself with the G7 strategy for the Women Governors Caucus and pledge the government's full support for it. Let me repeat, I pledge the government's full support. Let us therefore stand shoulder to shoulder in solidarity and equality, face forward with confidence, and lead this nation to a prosperous future where no one is left out and no one is left behind. The G7 strategy is a great one, especially coming in the backdrop of what we will be doing tomorrow in Embu. And I will be early, says. I know you are our host. We will be there tomorrow morning to celebrate women in our country and leadership of women in our country. The G7 strategy, therefore, is officially launched. God bless you and God bless Kenya. Asanteni sana na mubarikiwe. Thank you.